Oh, have to?
Apple's here.
Okay.
So much information.
I know. It's going to be very much on our toes.
All right, you ready, Jeanette? Ready, Mark? Okay. Calling to order the April 7th, 2026 meeting of Willamette Lake City Council. Good evening, everyone. It's 6:32 p.m. and all council members are present. Item 2 is the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join me in the pledge. Okay, item 3 is mayor's comments, Willamette News, meeting review and updates. First of all, we just finished a city council work session. It was from 5 to 5:30. We had 3 topics we discussed there, which were pretty well related. Special assessment policy regarding street improvement projects, and then identify potentially upcoming street improvement project scope. So we had a good discussion about that. No significant outcomes yet, but Direct gave staff some direction to work on some potential plans and updates to our current plan based on street improvements. Otherwise, we haven't met as a council since the 17th. Seems like it's the longest stretch we've been in a while, just because of the way that March lined up. Hope everybody had a nice Easter weekend for those who were celebrating that. Upcoming events include the Shoreline Fire Department Pancake Breakfast on Sunday, April 19th from 8 to noon. So that's coming up in a couple weeks. Yeah, mark your calendar. And always a good annual event there, and this first time it's hosted by the Shoreline Fire Department. So other than that, nothing major to report. It's a little quiet around here with spring break at all schools and folks on vacation and things like that, but spring is in the air, so looking forward to all that spring will bring here. Okay, with that, we'll move on to item 4, which is to approve this evening's agenda. I'll make a motion to approve the agenda. Second. Thank you. Motion in a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Item 5, open correspondence. Open correspondence is an item on the agenda during which the public may address the City Council. No formal action is taken by the City Council, and comments should be limited to 5 minutes or less. And open correspondence comments can also be emailed to city staff by noon on the date of the meeting. Anyone approaching tonight for open comments? Under open correspondence? Sure.
You'll see under our consent agenda this evening as agenda item 6E that we're recommending the appointment of a new City Hall staff member, Julie Bjorkman, for the position of administrative assistant. Julie kind of struck us as
Check the microphone.
Gosh, I try to hide under the wall. Just won't let me. Julie was a long time I think you were office manager at the time the company changed ownership, but I know you held other roles. She managed a brilliant switchboard, worked with contractors coming and going for a large company. I love that your references described you as the house mother of the office, because I think that's exactly in part what we're looking for our front desk, that feel and that vibe. Her references were wonderful. I spoke to 3 of them, and they had nothing but wonderful things to say about you. You should know that. One of them told me he'd been handing out her resume. So I think she's had some background in collections, which is great for utility billing. Done some work a little bit on the accounts receivable side for sure. meeting room setup, this, that, and the other. I think it definitely knows how to run herd on a team of contractors coming and going. So asking her to help us with public works and helping them keep track of some of those calls and emails is going to be just, fantastic. So we are really excited about this. I feel like Julie's going to be a great fit for our office and with our team. We can't wait to welcome her. I wish we could make her new office space immaculate, and we're really going to try before she gets here. But I'd love to introduce you to her and welcome her to come up and meet the council.
Great. Welcome, Julie. Step up to the mic and introduce yourself, please.
I'm Julie Bjorklund, and I live in Rogers, Minnesota. I've been in the construction industry for 30 years, so kind of know the cities, the subcontract world, the utilities, you name it. So excited to come aboard onto a more smaller community, and then just kind of get to learn everybody and what it happens around Long Lake.
Great.
So,
Thank you for applying, and congratulations on making it to the stage of the process. And I know staff look forward to having someone. We have a small staff here, as you can see, plus Public Works, and I know they look forward to having some help and kind of running short for the last 8 months or something like that. So 7, 8 months. So it'd be great to have you on board.
thank you.
When do you start?
I start on Monday.
Oh, wow. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, you like working here. Nice small town feel, a little bit smaller than Rogers. So. Right,
Glenn?
right.
Welcome to the family.
Yeah, thank you.
And the residents do make it special. It might be a slower pace than you're used to, but when the residents stop in, some of them are just, absolute day makers. So.
Or daybreakers?
Well,
Council.
Great, well, welcome. We're going to vote on it in a second. I don't anticipate any problems, but, yeah, glad to have you. Okay, anything else for open correspondence?
I do want to mention also that Jeff was, we have the hiring of a public works employee who came to us with a surprising local reference, local experience. He was unable to come to tonight's meeting. He had a prearranged plan, but he is intending to start tomorrow. He's already been here and pre-filled out some paperwork. He couldn't possibly be more excited, and he's used to pulling things like 16-hour stints behind a plow, so I don't think we're going to have any problems with snowplow training. We're very excited for what he can bring to Public Works as well. So.
Fabulous. Great to have Jeff on board as well. Okay, so on to this item 6 then. Speaking of the consent agenda, we do have a healthy one tonight with items A through J. Talked about appointing 2 staff members, which is fabulous, plus a couple of special event permits. And then I, appointing a Park Board members, Erica Leachman as chair and Mark Pressing as secretary of the Park Board. And J, appoint Planning Commissioners Judd Axelson as chair and Lori Goodfellow as chair pro tempora of the Planning Commission for 2026. Any questions for staff regarding items on the consent agenda? If not, entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda. I'll second.
All right, motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Great. All right, thanks staff for working on all that. Moving on to item 7 then, regular business. 7A, receive and accept the 2025 audited financial report.
Yes, so tonight we have Tyler C. He is the Audit Senior Manager with Abdo LLP, here to present the 2025 Financial Audit Presentation for Council.
Welcome, Tyler. Good to see you. It's been a year or so.
Thanks for having me. Okay.
I was going to also let council know that if they would like to follow along with the presentation, it is on page 67, 68 of their packet.
All right. Thanks for that.
And for reference, this is the 2025 audit. Tonight in consent, there was the first quarter
Financial report.
financial report for 2026. So if council has any questions on how things are going this year, they can reference that information.
All right, thank you.
All right,
All right.
well, I'll get right into it. So I'm going to go over the financial statement audit presentation. Meant to be basically a high-level overview of the audit, so give you guys the updates you should be aware of without getting too lost in the details of the full audit report. As I go, feel free to interrupt me with any questions or anything like that along the way. So what I'll be going over is the audit results and then the results of each of the funds, the general fund, other governmental funds, and your enterprise funds. And then I'll end the presentation with what we like to call key performance indicators. So our responsibility as auditors is to issue an audit opinion on the financial statements of the city. We are issuing what's referred to as an unmodified opinion on the financial statements. So that is a clean audit opinion. So the opinion you would be striving for in a financial statement audit. Throughout the course of the audit, we also do some review of state statutes that are relevant to the city. And we also are noting that we didn't note any instances of non-compliance with state statutes relevant to the city. So clean audit report, clean audit opinion, no non-compliance noted for 2025. If you've seen the audit report before or after the presentation before, you might recognize these two audit findings. Preparation of financial statements and limited segregation of duties. Essentially, what these findings means is, limited segregation of duties is just the fact that you have a small staff on hand doesn't mean you can fully segregate all of the accounting roles as ideally as you could. And then preparation of financial statements simply means that we, as your auditors, not only perform the audit, but we also prepare the financial statements, which is technically the responsibility of management. These are two very common findings for a city of your size, and these are recurring findings for the city of Long Lake. So basically nothing new as it comes to the overall audit results from previous years. So now getting into the financial results for the year. Here what we're looking at is your general fund's fund balance in comparison to your fund balance policy, which is to maintain a fund balance of 50% of your following year's budget. So that yellow line is kind of the line you're looking at. So as of year-end 2025, your general fund balance was about 68% of your 2026 budget, which is meeting and exceeding that fund balance policy. Providing a little bit further context, I know that some of this fund balance was transferred out into your various capital funds to begin 2026. I know that was approved early on in the year, but that's where you get into 2025. Now here we're looking at your general fund budget to actual results for 2025. So on the left here, you see that final 2025 general fund budget. In the middle, you'll see the actual results for the general fund, and on the right, you're going to see the variance of that final budget. So you had positive budget variances for both revenues and expenditures, revenues exceeding budget, expenditures under budget. So for revenues, there was some more building permit activity as well as investment earnings in that final budget. Expenditures were under budget really due to various departments, but I know one thing was budgeting conservatively for potential legal fees related to the fire department, which came in under budget. But also general government, public works, various departments did come in under budget for 2025. You also transferred out $60,000 to the capital project fund, and that bottom $1.3 million amount, that's your year-end general fund total fund balance. Here, taking a quick snip at your general fund revenues and expenditures by type over the last 3 years. So on the left, you see your different revenue sources, with your property tax levy being your main revenue source in your general fund. And on the right, your various expenditures by department over the last 3 years. So kind of looking at last year, your public safety costs and public works costs did decrease slightly, and public safety is really the biggest decrease over the years. And otherwise, other things have stayed pretty consistent. Here, taking a look at your special revenue funds. This slide is showing your fund balance change between 2024 and 2025. Currently, the city has 4 special revenue funds open. Kind of your largest special revenue fund being the fire department fund, which I believe in 2026 will be closed out into your fire capital fund with the creation of the Shoreline Fire District. So. And then here's the budget to actual for that fire department fund. So same format as the general fund budget to actual. Looking at your final budget, actual results, variance with that final budget. So in this fund this past year, just more activity in general than budgeted. More revenues, more expenses. The sale of capital assets was the sale of an old fire truck as well as some radio equipment. So overall that fund did increase about $87,000 this past year after all that activity. Here we're looking at the capital project funds, so same format as the special revenue fund slide. Looking at the fund balance change between 2025 and 2024. The biggest activity in the capital project funds was that TIF 16 district this past year, which was technically decertified, but you still have some funds in that fund because it's going to be used for sewer lining projects in the future. So that big decrease is mostly due to that TIF technically decertifying this past year. That's kind of the biggest increase or decrease. And then here's your debt service funds, so your last type of governmental funds here. Currently just have 2 bonds outstanding in the debt service funds, which those 2 bonds will be both matured by 2033. The bottom half of the slide just shows the payment schedule for those 2 bonds. Moving on into the water fund, so here we're starting the enterprise fund section of the presentation. These slides are all the same format, where on the top half we're showing your basic operating activity over the last 4 years. And on the bottom half of the slide, we're showing your cash balance, and that black line you're going to see is a minimum target balance, which is essentially kind of an operating cash balance target. We have it as the following year's debt service payments plus half of your operating costs. So this is kind of an operating cost, target, but you want to keep in mind the potential capital needs in all these enterprise funds as well. So the water fund had a good year, increase in cash of about $200,000 from 2024. And here, sewer fund, same format, operating activity up top, and then the bottom you're going to see that cash balance throughout the year. So this fund has definitely been performing a lot better the last few years. Was in deficit back in 2022. And now you're getting to a point where you are kind of meeting that target balance of debt service requirements and half of your operating costs. Surface water fund, similar story here, operating activity up top as well as the cash balance over the years. So this one also has increased in cash of about $20,000 between 2024 and 2025. Recycling fund also was in deficit a few years ago, but now this fund has been building up some cash after a couple positive operating years. Here we're just taking a quick look at your total cash and investments that the city has held the last 3 years, broken up between the different funds that your money's in. Most of your funds currently being in your capital project funds as of year-end 2025. For the last couple of years, your cash has stayed pretty consistent, about $8.7 million at year-end for 2025. Now this is the kind of the key performance indicator section of the presentation. What we're doing here is we're taking a look at different categories for the City of Long Lake, and typically your peer groups are going to be Class 4 cities, which is cities that have a population of 10,000 or less all across the state, and then of course the cities in Hennepin County. For some of this data, we have the peer group data up until 2024. Some of this data we actually have to go back to 2023 for the most recent data available. So the line's always going to be Long Lake, and then the bars are your peer groups. So on the left, you're looking at tax rate, which based on the most recent peer group data, you're basically right in line with Hennepin County and then below average for Class 4 cities, which is again the statewide cities. And then the one on the left is kind of a full picture of the different taxes that make up, like a citizen's total tax rate. So just showing that City of Long Lake makes up about 35% of a tax rate. You also have the county, school, and like special district tax rates as well. Here we're looking at your debt, so debt per capita and debt service expenditures as a percent of current expenditures. So this is one where we only have peer group data available. The most recent available is actually 2023. But similar story for both of these, Long Lake being below average when we're looking at a debt per capita view. And then here we're looking at your current expenses per capita and your capital expenses per capita. Again, compared to Class 4 cities and cities in Hennepin County. So the main thing that makes up your current expenses per capita, those are all your operating costs, and public safety being the biggest category there for Long Lake. And then your capital expenses per capita is really your project expenses. So those really, you're going to see some volatility there because it depends on when your bigger projects takes place or when your bigger equipment purchases take place and things like that. And that's, I believe, my last slide. Yep. So I can take.
Can I ask a question about that one?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Did you have more?
No, that was my last slide.
So our current expenditures per capita are a lot higher than other Hennepin County cities and other Class 4 cities. Is the reason for that because and Class 4 cities you said are 10,000 or less, and we're 2,000 or less.
In the lower. Yep.
And is that what drives that largely?
I think that drives it, as well as I think your public safety costs are pretty high here as well. With operating the fire department and stuff, because this is just taking a look at your costs before any kind of revenue that comes in.
But that was my other question I was going to ask on one of your first slides. You showed a big drop in public safety, and I was going to ask why is that, and also why isn't that reflected in this one then?
So this one, a little bit more context. This is only your general fund public safety costs, not your total current.
What's that one?
Yeah, was the one before this too, Tyler, and that was nearly.
Well, and then this is your budgeted expenses were under.
Yeah, it was a bar chart.
It was a bar chart,
It was
yeah.
the one that you showed.
I think it would have been this one, and this one doesn't take into account your fire department fund.
What is that?
This is just your general. So your public safety in here is you do have like the legal fees and stuff like that in the general fund, as well as like
police contract in this?
Yeah, exactly.
Why is this? Why is that?
Police and the legal, right?
Yep.
The legal drop.
Oh, so we had a lot of legal in 23 and 24,
Mhm.
and now we're back to where we
Right.
had.
Yep.
Small, in the Class 4 cities that are sort of more removed, more rural, do they, I mean, just thinking about the public safety, but are they kind of relying more on like county sheriff or something?
Exactly.
Like that?
Contracted services.
So that includes, this is general fund expenses,
Yep.
but this is where we pay our police contract out of.
Correct.
But why wouldn't we be paying our share of the fire contract?
We are.
Oh, we are. So that,
So I can-
Moving forward.
I can answer this.
no, but
So-
even previously.
No, public safety, for the department, we added our share of fire into that so we could get a better vision. But like you were saying, so in addition to our share of, our fire department, the Long Lake share, we were paying around $300,000 a year for our share of legal. And the reason we're so under budget last year is because we didn't know if we were gonna be going to litigation.
Yeah, no, I get.
So but if you look for the 500,000, that would include.
That's police and fire.
That is police and fire.
Right, and that will change quite a bit going forward into 26
We're
and
going to see that increase,
very much so,
increase of fire.
correct. But we were only paying roughly $80,000 a year for
Well,
fire,
between 80 and 100, I think.
correct. And then we were also getting, paid for administration, so that's what he was talking about. But the biggest decrease is because we had, in 23 and 24, we had quite a lot of legal fees that were included in that.
Did we ever get, attorney fee, payment of attorney fees when we settled?
Everything has been settled up.
Okay.
Yes.
And why is public works going down?
Public Works, we've been noticing recently, I don't know if the vehicle you're gonna see in 2026, a lot more cost on vehicle maintenance that maybe have not been, as diligent in the last couple of years. So that, I've already seen quite a large increase just with them being so short-staffed the last couple of years. We've had a lot of staffing issues, so the cost of, payroll and such have went down quite a bit, especially hiring different level staff versus what we had. We had step 8 staff for so many years, and then we went down to an entry level step 1, and so it was a huge difference in staffing. And then, like I said, I think for facilities and things, they haven't done a lot of large maintenance. The vehicle was just purchased in 2026, but that had kind of been on our radar for a couple years and it was never purchased.
So the expenditures, this is just, what expenditures are they including? Because I could see that a lot of class 4 cities might not have sewer, water, and the same infrastructure costs.
The current expenses per capita on this graph is this is all of your current governmental expenses. So this would include general fund, all your special revenue funds. Most of your capital project funds are capital, so that'd be on the graph to the right. So what I was trying to kind of explain before is that this doesn't just include your general fund where you're seeing that drop in public safety, but this would also include the fire department fund as well. It's like it doesn't just include your general fund, it's your special revenue funds as well. This specific chart doesn't include enterprise funds.
Okay.
And can you go to debt per capita, which is, I think, the next slide? Yeah, the long-term debt per capita. So, as you point out, we're lower, quite a bit lower, and we're declining, I guess. We have been declining as compared to class 4 cities in Hennepin County. And I think, and then what you showed on a slide, we only have two outstanding bonds, and one expires 27.
Yeah, of those two, so did one of them expire 27?
Yeah, 27, yeah.
And we're going to be adding to that. So
Right. Yeah, I just want to point that out, that I think we've been overly conservative about not bonding in last few years, and maybe that's, now we're talking about maybe doing that for road projects and things like that. I know I talked to the mayor of Maple Plain a couple weeks ago, and they very heavily bond for their road projects, and they have several outstanding bonds for the road projects, but they also have their roads are overall very new, very good shape. So I just wanted to mention that it's on the horizon.
Were I'd seen some email traffic on that. Were you going to talk to somebody at Maple Plain about that, or you have?
We've been speaking, yes. We were talking a little bit about it. Maple Plain, I'd already been working with their city administrator because he had come out on some other things, and so we're going to be looking at it long-term projects. I don't necessarily know if, as a city, I need to be convinced that this is the plan.
No, maybe not, but
yeah.
I thought that was a good example that here they are making good use of bonding.
Yes, and I'm also working with
take care
Ellers
of their
too. When I spoke with Ellers, we talked a lot about what other cities are doing, how frequently they're bonding, and what we had done in the past historically. And so, yes, we are definitely, that's what we're talking about, making long-term plans with the city.
Because, I mean, I think we're all in agreement that our streets need attention, and we've kind of they've been neglected for too long, and I think that we are going to be taking a closer look at that and ways to finance that. So
yes, one thing in Tyler's slide, right now we have wonderful capital and investment income. However, I think, and we have benefited tremendously from the interest, but I do think that we have to find that more of a happy medium between having funds in reserve, but also making sure that we're taking care of the infrastructure that we have. So there has to be a bit better balance, so that is a priority of mine.
Yeah, our fund balances are quite a bit higher. They seem to be going up the last few years in comparison to our 50% fund balance policy, right? So that was, I thought that was an interesting slide as well, or pretty favorable to how we've been managing our funds.
I would imagine that that's going to look different for 2026, given what you transferred out for capital to accomplish some things this year.
Correct. I included it right in our budget to transfer out of the general right away and make sure that we're starting to put money aside for the various capital, because we also talked about, I added multiple capital funds that you will not see in 2025, that we're adding in 2026, so that we can start planning by area. For instance, parks needs attention as well, but I don't want parks and streets competing, and so I want separate capital funds so that we can make decisions based on the money allocated in those earmarked funds.
I'm still stuck on the current expenditures per capita. Because I understand it's the general fund and the fire department and not the enterprise fund, but we had a drop off in public safety expenditures in 2025 because of the drop in legal fees we're paying. But it seems in 2025, there's general fund and fire department expenditures have gone up quite a bit.
That's not just fair, that's everything.
Okay.
And our full expenditures went up.
So this is like, for instance, the fire department fund.
Yeah.
So this one, for instance, was over budget. And again, you're like matching revenues for the fire department fund. But I'm just saying, so like the expenditures for just public safety general went down, but like in total, your expenses for the whole city, governmental expenses didn't go down. That was just a category that it went down.
And per capita,
I'm just wondering why this is so big compared to like why other than
we have had expenses and take fire out, look, expenditures in general, our budget in general have gone up every year, even though our tax rates we're trying to keep level with property values going up, our expenditures year to year are going up. With
we don't have
inflation.
Salaries and-
figure out where these other
Correct. But when you talk per capita, we have 734 houses, so even every time
Yeah.
we do, a $7,000 project, it adds quite a bit to our per capita. Where somebody with 10,000, like you were saying, it's going to have a much difference. Every decision we make affects each house quite a bit.
It's hard when you're being compared to cities in Hennepin County versus doing an analysis that's like City of Long Lake, City of Maple Plain, City of, like an immediate comparison, population to population. That would actually be like a really interesting exercise.
Yeah, that would be.
Because Hennepin County, we've all come to this realization that Hennepin County, when you're being compared to the county, but the county includes Bloomington and Robbinsdale, we don't have anything in common with that in any way, shape, or form.
However, with that said, too, because we're in Hennepin County, if we compare it to a city of 2,000 in northern Minnesota, their costs, and we've even seen it with vendors, costs for northern Minnesota for cities our size, because we're in Hennepin County, we're going to pay so much more.
Yes.
Our tax rates alone, everything is so much higher because we are considered metro. So it's both. It's trying to compare to cities our size, but also
labor might be a little cheaper up north.
But what else would make it cheaper in outstate cities, like,
sales
northern?
tax.
No, what I'm saying is, what does Hennepin County have to do with our city expenditures?
Like you were saying, labor. I think right now we're finding that we have to start offering for public work wages is much different than.
Yeah, but it's insurance, insurance.
Yes, insurance.
But I would think that certain things are the same, whether you're here or in northern Minnesota.
To a point. Like I said, when we're doing price analysis and trying to get close, we always ask that we get a few from outside of Hennepin County because we do see a very large difference from what other vendors are charging. So I think when we're looking at this expenditure thing, like Heather was saying,
Can you go to that, the tax rate chart, one of those that you showed? Yeah, this one there. So I thought that tax rate from 24 to 25 goes from 33.67 to 37. I don't recall us making that big a jump. We were, well, at least I was always watching tax rates. That was like a big issue for me, as many of you know. And we kept it flat, you know, for the longest time. In fact, I don't even recall us dropping from 2022 to 23 from 30, almost 36 down to 33. I don't recall that big a drop either. So I don't know if it's because we were using numbers that weren't final or something in that calculation. But I know that we had, well, I thought that we kept it flat from 24 to 25. I would have bet on that. So I'm not sure why that's different.
So just so you know, we get our numbers from 2025 would be Hennepin County, and the years before that would have been the League of Minnesota Cities. So I guess I could always double check the numbers. But
Scott used to show a chart saying what our tax rate was for like the last 6 years. I don't know if you have that, Amanda.
I might. I can look.
And yeah. Something different there. And that should be a simple calculation, right? That's
tax levy divided by
Tax
tax
levy.
capacity. So.
yeah.
That's like the finalized number, so.
Yeah, but that's a big difference. Yeah, well, I should look up that thing that Scott sent out, because I don't remember us ever being close to 37%.
So is the tax, I know this, I should know this answer this question, but is the tax capacity calculated differently for the county as it is for Long Lake, or is it the same?
So tax capacity is 2% of commercial property value and 1% of residential property value. That's like your tax capacity. So that would just be, for county, it would just be countywide versus cities, in the city.
Okay.
So it's the same like formula though.
Formula, okay.
So I'm looking at something right now for 2025 tax rate, 3342.
Yep, 33.42%.
Yeah,
You gotta adjust.
For what year?
For
2025.
What are you looking at? So like,
What we approved.
okay.
So that where it says 37.03, you're saying
We approved,
33.
for 2025, we approved 33.42.
Let me just look really quick at where we would have pulled this from.
I actually saw that number 2 right away, and I was like, 37? No.
I did not notice that.
Is something in the calculation here the name?
I don't know. I can't speak to that because I only,
What meeting do we approve that in? Do we have that in front of you?
Well, the December 17th,
December 17th, okay.
2024.
I'm trying to try to pull it up. It's probably still on me.
Because we would have approved it based on a dollar amount when we had,
No, we would have approved the tax rate. I think the tax rate was something.
oh, okay.
Because the dollar amount
Oh,
was
you don't approve a dollar amount, we approve
I
it.
believe we approved the tax rate with the
No,
dollar amount.
no, there's it's a dollar amount, but the report includes a calculation of the tax rate.
Now we set the levy and then just compute from there. Yeah, I show 34.031%. Is that what you had?
Oh, it's just
December
this
19,
This is
2020.
different.
Oh,
This
you're
is the year
looking at-
prior. So 33.42?
34.031.
Was that preliminary levy or was that final?
On December 17th.
It says final. It was this was on the 16th. Our meeting agenda packet was on the 16th.
December 2024.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, you're right. I was thinking of
For
2026. God, I'm sorry. I was thinking 2026 is tax rate.
Yeah, so it went up just slightly in twenty-six then.
Right.
Remember that, yeah.
In the discussion, yeah.
Yeah.
Can't find it.
Do we know what the final levy amount could have been? Because she's got it up right now.
Well, so did we approve the amount, or did we approve the tax rate? What did we say on that?
What you approve is an amount and you back into the
Yeah,
tax
yeah,
rate
that's what I
based on
thought.
the amount.
Okay.
Yes.
Unless the rate was,
Did we prove an amount and maybe we didn't have the correct tax capacity?
Unless,
Be something like that, I suppose.
unless someone didn't,
is there even a change, error in the rate? When it was approved?
I don't,
I don't know.
well, what is the amount that you have there showing?
Well, this is just the tax capacity, so I don't have the.
Oh, it's just the tax
one.
capacity, okay.
And I can,
can
you know,
drill down it.
this is just in the presentation.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
I can double check this number,
Okay,
where
yeah.
we pulled it from. It should have been from the county website where we got that number, but now I'm looking online, I don't see where the report is that we would have pulled. But,
Okay.
I'm sorry, what was that? Because I know that we can back into it too. I'd like to
well,
do
yeah,
the
this looks like
calculation.
33.467, so I think this
There it
number
is.
should
Yep.
be
That was twenty-five?
33, yeah.
33 point,
Oh,
what was it, 4, 6,
4.6, Is
something?
that what you said?
We said 33. Slightly off, but
Okay, but,
So this should be,
more in the neighborhood.
That's right.
so is this just a typo, or is this,
yeah, it would have been a typo, yep.
That's a books.
should we be auditing your audit?
No, yeah, so that'd
You
be
have good
33.
set of eyes.
If you did ask me to take a look at it, so full disclosure, I did not take that. Good catch.
All right,
Well, I'm glad that we're keeping that line flat.
right. Really consistent. All right, are there any other questions for Tyler?
Well, it's good to see that our enterprise funds are looking better than they have, and I know that, you know, in the past, that was always an issue, and
Thanks,
Yeah,
Amanda.
nice job on that.
we're hoping to get
Nice
those
job.
back on track, and yes, our per capita spending seems high, but, you know, we are a small city, and it is what it is, and I don't think, I think we're pretty careful with our spending. I mean, you guys handle that really well, in my opinion, and we're always taking a close look at any of our spending, and so, yeah, I'm pleased with where it is.
And we know that we hire, it's a different thing to be a metro city versus far out. The fact that we have a more full-time police force here, that fire has evolved, so it's gone pretty well.
It'd be interesting to see a comparison of public safety costs, like to what other cities of our size.
No, just a comparison, I know we're always doing comparisons to like, you know, kind of big county cities, but if you took like Maple Plain, Loretto, you know, some of those that were more comparable in size directly along Lake, that would be an interesting comparison, but
I will say though, if we're gonna look at public safety, we definitely wanna make sure we're looking at Hennepin County because police costs for Hennepin County police officers is
Yeah, good point.
very high.
Competitive.
That might be a situation where we would see a large cost difference.
Right, point.
Maybe this wasn't a discussion for this here, but our police contract goes until 28.
I've been looking a little bit at the information, I've been,
You know,
John and I are kind of looking at that a little bit,
Okay.
we can talk about that a little bit later.
All right, so we need a motion, but should we be making, do we need any kind of correction noted regarding the tax rate amount, or is that sort of not what you'd recommend I mention that?
I think because that's in the presentation and
Doesn't actually show up in the
not
model.
substantive in the
Oh, that's
audit.
true, it's not in the actual,
Yeah,
okay.
The motion as it is?
I think we're good.
All right, I'll make a motion to receive and accept the executive governance summary annual fiscal report for the year ending December 31, 2025, issued by the city's external auditors, Abdo LLP.
All right, I'll second that. Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right, thanks yet again,
Thanks for
Tyler.
having me. Have a good meeting.
Yeah.
Nice to see you, Tyler.
Good to see you guys.
Okay, item 7B is approve agreement with WSB for professional services for the 2026 sanitary sewer. I can't read that, but lining.
Yes. Thank you, Council. So tonight, after a lot of discussion that I've had with Council about the sewer lining project proposal for 2026, I have before you a professional service agreement with WSB for the preparation of plans and specifications for the 2026 project that we are proposing. After some discussion with both Council and WSB, we have decided to move forward with a sewer lining project in District 3 and in District 5. If you recall from our last meeting work session, we are going to be using TIF funds to fund a portion of this project, and those funds need to be used in an area in which there was development that has caused a strain on our infrastructure. So that is why I'm proposing 3 and 5, Districts 3 and 5 to start with. Another reason that I would like to start with these districts is because both District 4 and District 1 will probably have large street projects done in the future, and I feel that some of the sewer maintenance can be done at that time. One thing I would like to mention to Council, in addition to the project, the work being done in 3 and 5 of both sewer lining, we are also looking at doing we found a fix, an issue here in District 1 where the sewer pipe is completely offset and cannot be lined. And we feel that it is so urgent that we need to do a repair on this section, because.
Do they find that with cameras though?
Correct.
So it's just the pipe's just offset?
The pipe is off-centered, so aligning.
Where is that on there?
Sorry.
Was that in that little box?
Yes, right here.
So that's
Glenmore?
Is that the one you showed us the video of?
Oh, it's the more.
I don't believe that this is
Swamp.
shown. I don't believe it was shown. It was on Weisel Boulevard.
No, it's kind of the wetlands area, I believe, between in that neighborhood there.
the trail.
The trail and.
So are we
Section of
dumping
that
into
blue?
those wetlands for years or something?
Good question.
So originally, in addition to 3 and 5, we were going to do this entire stretch. If you recall, we had talked about that a little bit in our work session. And when reviewing the data, we found that we could not line that entire area because of the offset of this pipe. We will be working with WSB engineers to decide whether we relocate the pipe itself or dig down and fix it. Either way, this is critical. It's a critical area that I would like to get, I'm messing up, that I would like to get addressed sooner than later. So,
So
Today-
that, I'm just looking at the direction
Sorry.
the arrows are, so that's taking
it looks like it's going down. Now, there is a pond right here. Now, Sean is not available today, so if we have additional questions, he may be a better person to ask. But apparently there is a pond in this area. There has always been concern water might be going right in from the pond into our line into our sewer somehow.
That north side of that blue line, isn't that just the giant pond there?
Possibly, yes. I don't know exactly.
Oh.
So this is, like I said, this is a
The water continuously empty.
Yeah, when did we find it?
It's offset enough that, like I said, it is completely impossible to do any type of lining. It will have to be.
This is what is it, a 6-inch pipe or?
See, the water is like right behind,
Yeah, it's like Wolf,
Wolf Point.
Right.
the sea trail.
This whole thing?
So that is what you will have in front of you today. So they call it a spot repair on of sanitary sewer pipe in District 1 east of Wolf Point Trail near the wetland to address an infiltration sanitary sewer system. So, today I'm asking council to approve a professional service agreement with WSB. The professional services will cost $81,267 to complete these 3 projects. And we did them.
Oh, the three,
District
for
5,
their-
District 3,
WSP,
those are engineering costs,
for the,
Construction.
not the
for
construction.
District 3, 5, and then that part of District 1.
Correct. Project costs, we're hoping to be around $1 million, to stay around $1 million. And engineering would be the $81,200.
And again, how much TIF funds were we?
There was a little bit of confusion on how exactly much I'll get back from Hennepin County. I believe TIF funds will cover around $500,000. If you recall, we were approved for a guaranteed grant of $50,000. We did a transfer this year into the sewer lining newly created capital fund of $300,000. So it might be $150,000. Well, now with engineering, around $220,000 short, but
Big dent in it.
Is that 80,000, is that, I mean, does this seem like a reasonable?
it is. I looked at, they usually bill on a percentage of cost. And so I think that especially now with us starting a new relationship and trying to build some of these future projects, it will be interesting to see how close to everything, everything comes. And I do not believe that this is a guaranteed amount. It's just, I'll be looking at it as probably a do not exceed number. I do think it's going to be reasonable, especially for the scope of a project like this, given the amount of work that we're going to need in District 1 with that repair. So
Who noticed the pipe being offset?
it was caught in the televising. And so when we were prioritizing where to start with this in 2026 with the funding that we had available, as I mentioned, 3 and 5 are important to me because of the and WSB brought it to my attention that
So they've already done some work.
correct. Yes, we've already paid them to look at all of the televising that we had paid for in 2025.
And then when they televise this and start offset, is it just, do they pay anything or is it just pouring in?
Pretty much, correct. There are a few other areas that we will be making a priority next year, but this is one that they thought was.
I wonder what causes it to offset, these are deep, and so
One thing they mentioned, and I
we don't
don't
live
know
on
this for
fault
certain,
lines,
but they talk about two different pipe materials. And so I know in this area they were talking about like clay pipe, so there were different materials used for the sewer pipes themselves. And so I'm wondering if that, if you have these settling of the ground and everything,
But these are down,
So it wouldn't be a freezing thing.
now this one they talked about because it was so close to the water that it was already set in a unique situation anyways because it's overpassed under.
Doomed to fail.
But these are typically down like 8 feet or 10 feet.
It must be more common than not.
Way
because
below the frost line.
There are a couple that have offsetting throughout the city, but this is just one that I think was more concerning to both.
So they'll put in a section of new pipe or bypass it
Correct.
entirely?
Whatever the engineers decide is necessary.
And not use clay anymore, right?
We are going, that pipe will actually will not be lined, it will be a repair.
And so cause that, it seems like 81,000, just kind of looking at how reasonable that is. If you're doing, that kind of pipe repair, that's probably pretty expensive in terms of engineering.
Correct, and with working with WSB and some of the other cities I've been talking to, engineering, we're always gonna be looking around, between 10 and 20% of costs for engineering, so.
But are we, are there other options for engineering?
There are, and this is why I met with WSB a few weeks ago to explore, to first discuss some of the upcoming projects that we've had and just kind of discuss what we feel as a city we've needed and possibly haven't been getting. I feel that at this time, I'd like to work closely with Rachel and to try to get some of these projects that I know are long overdue completed, rather than trying to put out an RFP with a firm at this time for them to start from square one and push projects back further.
But you did have a talk with them that we want better service maybe than we have been getting.
Rachel will be our primary engineer now. We have made that change, so she is our engineer.
And she's, as far as rates go, she's kind of.
She is, yes, she doesn't have the experience as some of the higher level engineers within the firm. However, I have worked very well with her. I think she knows our city very well, and I think she's extremely knowledgeable. So to assist her, we will be also working with another senior level engineer that will be her reference.
He's the one that was here too.
He is not, but this is a person that specialized kind of in the street projects.
Can we find a cheaper one? Because he's kind of pricey.
She's actually not, which is funny.
Okay.
She's about half, I think, of what we were paying before. But she will be our primary, and then she will be utilizing senior engineers as needed. These are our concerns. So the details of their project costs are on page 199. On page 199, and so you're going to see Rachel's rate and what her anticipated hours are, and then Heidi, like I mentioned, is the senior project manager, and that is more working right now as a mentor for Rachel.
Oh, is that the person that you were?
I've met with quite a few representatives from WSB.
Who did you say would be working with
Heidi.
Rachel?
Heidi.
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 But she's an engineer, or?
She is, and she has a lot of municipal experience.
Have we had Heidi here before?
She has not come to council. Like I said, she's not going to be City of Long Lake engineer. Rachel will be our main point of contact. And whether we feel necessary or Rachel feels necessary, then we will be working with Heidi.
You know, the only number that seems to me like $21K to construction services, but they're not doing any construction. I know, but it just seems like how much does
This is during the construction, they
Yeah.
are over.
oversight,
Right,
prospecting, kind of
Yeah.
managing it. But doesn't that seem like it's checking in 21,000?
It's also things like notification and stuff like that, because you're talking about business areas and everything in the downtown, and so
Okay.
there's a lot
Okay.
of communication that goes on.
There's a lot of hours on
Candidates here,
the
but-
graduate engineer, this Eric Moberg too, so, he's a lower rate. So maybe they're giving him more of the,
So when we met, I did mention to her that we need to start spending more of our funds as a city on actually getting projects completed rather than just planning on or getting information on what projects need to be done. I'd like to really start focusing on project completion. And so I do think for this and future projects, both in sewer lining and streets, we should probably expect engineering will be coming around at 10 to 20%.
So honestly, given the scope of this project, I know it may seem horrifying, but I was actually kind of pleased with where the dollar figure came in at, because
I think
this is not a small project we're looking at.
but, because of this Eric Moberg, he actually has the bulk of the hours. And do we have any history of him, working with him? I mean, he's a young, probably just graduate engineer, so,
I haven't worked with him directly, no.
we wanna know that we have a good person at all levels, right? I
Correct.
mean, Rachel seems to be
Yeah.
good. I mean, you like working with her. Hopefully Heidi is a good
I will,
project manager to also work with, but I also would like to, I mean, do we know
What area is he assigned to?
that he's doing design, he's doing construction services?
I will say, I don't recognize any of the names on the list.
Yeah.
I believe that, this will be, which is a good thing. I think that this is positive. It's a positive start. But I can, I would be, Rachel and I are now going to be having monthly meetings, check-in meetings. And so I think maybe at the next meeting I can.
Can Eric be in
Yep.
on those, so
Yep,
you
I
can
can
kind of
invite-
get a sense for
Absolutely.
what he's like?
Seems like maybe he might be more engineer-based.
Yeah, that's fine, yeah, he is.
Doing
clearly,
the design,
because,
yeah.
But there's good engineers and there's not so good engineers.
Absolutely.
And I've worked with both. I want to know that this guy is
A good
My
one.
hope is that based on recent conversations, they understand this is a year that is a test of faith
Yeah, okay.
for WSP. I think that message has been very clearly conveyed. And let's hope they rise to the occasion.
And we've talked about this a little bit in the past. I don't know if in the past we've done a very good job of number one, letting them know what our goals were and communicating to WSP if something wasn't to our satisfactory. I don't know if we have done a good job on our end as staff communicating with WSP.
Maybe not, but now we
Right.
are, I think we're better at our planning now and what we want to accomplish and.
Correct. And that's where
I just want execution to go according, to go well, so.
Right, and that's exactly why today we felt it was so important to talk to council about any changes that there were to the three projects, so there is no miscommunication and complete transparency between them and the city of Long Lake. But I will make sure that I get to know them all a little bit better.
And just, make sure Eric knows whatever is happening in soil in there to make this happen.
I do that.
Correct.
Not this. Correct.
This is, over time, this is hundreds of thousands of dollars of net
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank goodness the televising did happen, because to find that and to imagine that being directly under a wetland, wow.
It's almost like, what was it, the Loretto example? Oh, that was our Loretto. Didn't they give the Loretto example?
Right.
Remember when they said it was that they found a pond sort of,
Oh,
you know,
right.
here we have it.
So if council does not have any more questions for me, I would like to move forward with a service agreement with WSB for sewer lining. For the 2026 sewer lining project, there'll be many more to come.
Right. All right, anyone wish to make a motion on that?
I'll do it. I'll make a motion to approve professional services with WSB for the preparation of plans and specifications for the 2026 sanitary sewer lining project.
You?
Second that.
Motion and a second. All right, any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right, thanks for your work on that, staff. Okay, that brings us to 8 already. Other business. All right, Councilor Newcomer.
No, I mentioned to Charlie earlier this evening that I won't be in attendance at our next meeting. I'll be at the fire department instructor conference in your office. But I don't think I will.
All right, thanks to advance notice on that. In case we have any, hopefully nothing requires a 4/5 majority at that meeting on the horizon. Okay.
I'll make sure it doesn't.
All right, perfect. All right, Councilman Feldman.
Good, thank you.
Councilman Dimick.
Two things, Mike and I have the fire board meeting tomorrow morning.
Yep.
Right? And, so we'll be attending that, and, don't see any major issues or things, it seems like, the transition is going, pretty well, at least from what it appears to me, so, hopefully we'll continue to, to go smoothly there. The other thing is, everybody's favorite topic, alum treatment for the lake is, the Long Lake Waters Association is continuing those discussions with, the Lakeshore Restoration, and, they're having a meeting tomorrow with them, and so Jane Davidson wanted to have a meeting with me prior to that to kind of see where I stood on it, at least. I've encouraged her to come and Jeanette, I think you have too, to come to the council and kind of present. Yeah, so I'll make that suggestion again to her, to do that, but, I still think it's something that's worth, I mean, I know that we've got so many other things on the table here, that cost money, but, I still think that our lake is really important, to our city and, our greatest natural resource. And I know that, you know, the watershed district is looking at some long-term plans, but I think having some shorter-term improvements is not a bad thing, especially if there's ways to find funding to do it that doesn't fall on, you know, one city or two cities or two cities and you know, the lake association, or, you know, if there's grants that are involved, if there's ways to do fundraising, if maybe the cities, you know, make some commitment to it, I think it's worth it, at least considering, especially because I you know, when I saw the numbers, the cost wasn't, I mean, it's not cheap, but it wasn't as much as I thought it would be. So, anyway, that's my opinion. And I know there's different viewpoints on island treatments, on, you know, if it's a good thing to do or not. But based on the condition of the lake last summer, I think there's a lot of interest in seeing if we can, you know, make those improvements. Now we'll see how things look this summer. Maybe it'll be different. But the trend is not in a good direction.
Is Orno interested at all?
Well, they had a representative from Orono. It wasn't an elected official. It was one of their staff was at the meeting, and you know, if they're aware of it, I don't know that we haven't had any. I haven't had any discussions with anybody from Orono about it. But you know, they own, or they have 2/3 of the lake shore, so they ought to be major participants in it if we do it. But yes, I don't know where they are. But even Medina was interested and which, you know, they don't have any lake shore, but they're part of our watershed, of our broader watershed, and Medina lakes flow into Long Lake, and so because there's talk about maybe even looking at alum treatments of some of those lakes that they have. They're smaller, but
Like Roosevelt?
I like Wolf's holy name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's name right, in Wolfville. Yeah. Anyway, it's kind of part of just a broader discussion about how do we improve the water quality in our region. I mean, you know, which Long Lake is the biggest body of water, but there's other bodies of water as well. So, you know, and it's a pretty significant improvement, and we are on the impaired waters list, and where they have done it before, they've come off the impaired waters list, which I think would be a good thing for our city, because people don't want to go to lakes that are, you know, not really swimmable or usable, and that would be benefit to our community and our businesses, and just in general a good thing, I think. So anyway, more to come on that. You know, who knows? It might not get traction, but there's just some ongoing discussions about that. But I'll suggest that you come to one of our meetings and present, you know, what they have.
If you don't mind, just on the fire, I did hop over there yesterday, and the rebranding is slowly taking shape, which is kind of fun. You guys are going to want the new logos and structure, and the trucks are going one at a time to get
Okay.
Yeah, get graphics.
That's good.
And some vehicles are very quick, and then other ones are really hard. So, but there's a plan that's moving.
Yeah, and the buildings will eventually be rebranded to say Shoreline Fire Department, but then it'll be Long Lake Station for Station 1, and it'll be Orono Station for
We might want to verify that tomorrow, at tomorrow's meeting.
I've mentioned it a few times and everybody agrees that that's what it's gonna be, so.
I do know that they were working on their branding of the interior when we were at our last meeting last week. And so a lot of the interior logos have done, and they did mention that there was an exterior logo going on that would say Shoreline Fire Department, and then the long lake would stay on the memorial. I did mention it at the operations meeting, but I think,
But there would be a distinction between Station 1 and Station 2.
I'm not sure.
Better bring that up tomorrow. I thought that was in one of the.
Yeah, no, it was, and I brought it up, and Steve and
I want to remind them.
they agreed, yeah, I'll
Yeah, I
bring
mentioned
it
at
up.
the
tomorrow.
operation meetings, we probably wouldn't hurt to.
Well, you need something to identify the difference of the buildings, right? I mean, because anyway.
So yes, I was just mentioning tomorrow. But
Okay.
I do know that they are working on, there's a contractor that's done a lot of that, and we did that as well. So that was a good thing.
Very common in fire districts to have a community review and
Yeah, I remember saying that.
No, but yeah, we had it on the,
In the exhibit.
one of the exhibits of the agreement.
Oh, yeah. All right, anything else, John?
No. That's it.
All right. Couple updates. Event coming up on April 23rd, 6:30 p.m. Orno Activity Center. It's Braver Angels. Jeanette put out a listserv message about this, as well as a Facebook post. I know I mentioned it before, but encourage community members, council members to attend. It's a co-sponsor with Mayor Tunheim from Orno. And it's called How Do We Find Community in Our Differences? And just a good discussion with a guest speaker that kind of facilitates about how to have discussions with friends or family or coworkers or council members or whomever on topics political differences you may have, and it's not meant to get you to sort of change your opinion about a particular political opinion, just meant to kind of understand the other person's perspective and see if there's a way to kind of build upon that. So I've been in 2 events so far, and I've been sponsored by Wayzata and Shorewood, and now we're, as a city, and City of Orno, we're sponsoring one as well. On the 23rd at the Orno Activity Center, and more information again on Facebook or listserv message. And you are supposed to register. There's no registration fee, but they request registration for that. And Jeanette, could you put that out to could you just send something to our council and park board and planning commission as well, just to kind of a more direct message? It'd be great to get some of those folks there. I've been reaching out to some community members as well, but that'd be helpful. Thanks. Other than that, just give the council a heads up. We got a phone call from a resident of Watertown Road a week or 2 ago, kind of far west end of Watertown Road, about kind of complaining about the deer in the area. Why you laugh? Yeah, there's a lot more deer. Any of us that lived here for a number of years, there's a lot more deer than there used to be. Obviously, they're not hurting anybody physically, but more of a nuisance and eating vegetation and things like that. I know we lost quite some nice shrubs over the winter at my house. And a resident sent me a picture of 8 deer in his backyard, but he said that's nothing because he's counted as many 20 deer in his backyard at one time, eating and that kind of thing. So it's not just Long Lake, it's happening in Orno as well. I did speak to an Orno official, and it sounds like they might be having a work session, just as a work session topic in maybe May or so, which is coming up. I know a lot of Orno residents have brought up concerns too, so I don't know what the solution is. There's not really a perfect solution, but just wanted to mention that from that part of the city, there is quite a bit of deer activity in these days.
Yours could naturally fix stuff when the coyotes make their way back. Which is true. Actually, it's a cycle.
Too, yeah.
Yeah, it truly is. We see it all the time, the deer numbers get big, the coyotes make their way back, the deer move on, the rabbit numbers get smaller, the coyotes move on, a couple years later, the deer population gets big. It's kind of cyclical.
Yeah. There's definitely a lot of coyotes over in our part of the city, more than it used to be. Well, that's so far I'm not seeing a big difference, but, you know, deer hunting is down, obviously, not as many people are deer hunting as they used to, and I've heard that has an effect.
None of these are, but it's
No, in Orono you can, I guess, you have to
with
get a
bigger
permit,
acreage,
but,
yeah.
yeah.
I have problems with beavers. The beavers, they come and they cut down my arborvitaes and then.
Oh,
no.
interesting.
And you can just see you can see those gnaw marks,
They're busy though.
Wow.
like arborvitaes and cedar trees apparently. They took down that one too. Yeah, there's a beaver down on the east end of the lake. So they come all the way across the lake because they're like my trees, I guess.
You say
Sorry
something?
to go backwards. I had a number, actually, I had 3 different residents at different times reach out to me about the lights along Rosetta Boulevard by the cemetery and Birches. Because it seems there's a dark stretch right there where there's no light pole when people walking, and I don't know whether it's a city boundary or whether one got hit and not replaced.
Well, those are county lights. The tall one, the
black ones on the Bennett Street, is that a county?
Well, they installed them, I think we maintain them, is my understanding, as a city, because, you know, we've had a few get hit
Really?
down, but we have to replace them.
Yeah, ours got hit, I saw that, but then this was just, and I just happened to notice it driving by that there's this gap. And I guess that, 2 of the people were, purchase employees, they parked in that area and then walked
Yeah,
out, and
dark.
how dark it was.
You're not sure if there's poles missing, or if there's not lit,
No,
or?
I presented more of the question.
Okay.
Maybe there was some history behind that.
Are you taking notes on that?
I am because,
I have another one and this has been going on for years with the light across from Martha Lane.
what's that?
It always goes off and on,
Flickers?
like all night long. It doesn't stay on. I mean, it stays on for like 20 seconds and then goes off for 10 seconds.
And if the sensor, there might be an extra light shining. the
But I told
sensor.
John about it, I don't know, 2 years ago, and I thought it got taken care of, and then I just realized it's still doing it. So.
I'll look at Amanda and see where those are.
Yes, I know that there was, a light that was hit over
Yes,
in that area,
Orchard
however,
Lane.
it was just the base that was damaged.
Because I think it's still functioning, it's still functioning,
Yes.
but it's clearly.
Yes, we're looking at trying to get that repaired, and then there was 2 light poles.
Yeah,
So
that was
the
my-
light poles,
If we buy some extra ones because they take so long to get,
that
It already got installed.
no, I don't think so.
I thought it
Oh,
already got
possibly. One thing that Jen and I have talked about too is, so in this area, like there's 2 green ones at the side of the building that I told Sean, I said, let's get those out of there and use them somewhere else, because we have the, stack, it's actually beautiful lights right there, very modern, and so we can remove ours, and so I think it's,
and those provide enough light for.
they do. One of them is they're feet away from each other.
That would go a long way if we said we took ours from City Hall and put it down there for them.
Are the ones that we have, like the ones with the pine
Those are
cones?
different.
Yeah.
The acorn, they're called.
These would work on Orchard, is that the one they got about 2 weeks ago? There was a light pole taken out on Orchard Lane, when it snowed out.
Yep.
Do you think that's been reported? That's been reported, because I heard Wayzata Police actually
I contacted the insurance company for both of these light poles. Unfortunately, I'd asked Sean, I'm waiting for him to get me a quote to send to the insurance company. So they're waiting on me. I just need to know what the replacement costs are gonna be so I can get it handled. He said that he had left a message and hasn't heard. And then the one on Orchard Lane, he was wondering, because right now Excel apparently handles a lot of them. He didn't know if they were responsible for replacing them. But it's on my note that we're gonna talk about tomorrow at tomorrow's staff meeting. So I will mention all things lights.
Yeah,
That will probably be a project that we have to start looking at later.
and Julie could help with some of that, legwork with
Follow
the.
up.
Right,
You have the names for the municipal representative at Excel now,
Okay.
yeah.
if we need to go around.
Too fast, lost control.
I got involved with that on a tree-related issue,
Yes.
so I now have that person's name.
So we have to get we have a lot of light issues. But these are 2 things that I'll make notes of to make sure that they're on both my radar and public works. So
Great, thanks. All right, Councilor Qualley.
Went to the planning commission meeting.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And we have a new planning commission member.
Yep.
You have to
Travis Michaels, he, very enthusiastic, very excited, lives on Mark Lane. I think he's gonna be an excellent addition. He has a civil engineering background. He's warm and friendly. He's gonna get along great with everyone, but he's also gonna, bring a wonderful skill set, I think, to the commission. So, looking forward to that. And they hadn't met in a long time, so after business got done, there was a lot of catching up to do, just visiting. But so they had a good meeting and a good catch-up session, and it was nice to get that out of the way because we might be looking at a possible land use application coming soon. So I kind of wanted to get that routine business done and get him sworn into office and get some of those catch-up, conversations. Give them an opportunity to have that before we have a meeting. So
I think they approved the minutes from May 2025.
exactly.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And they're always going to continue to be meeting more infrequently. I mean, Long Lake is substantially fully developed, and it's always going to be more land use application based. Things will pick up a little when we get into the comp plan, and some zoning changes we'll probably have ahead of us related to that. But
And Judd is now the chair.
yes, he was enthusiastically appointed by Lori Goodsell.
Another good guy.
Yes.
Martha Lane is really represented.
Stepping up to the plate. No, and Judd was excited, but Lori was also very excited to nominate him. So, the board was very supportive, and Lori Goodsell she was also nominated to continue on as vice chair, as you saw in your packet. So, I think it's going to be good. So. We also had a great park board meeting while we're on the subject of meetings. Sorry, I don't mean to jump in on your thunder there, but we had a good park board meeting, and they are cooking up a plan for a mid-May event for bonfires at the beach, which will not be the full-scale giant bonfire that they would love to do because we know that would probably make quite a mess out of the beach. But probably bring the fire pits that we use at that we borrow, from the Lions, everything for the tree lighting, and bring that out. And Erica might see if our DJ friend might come back and do a little bonfire at the beach thing in May on a weekend before school lets out and after Memorial Day. Unfortunately, it is Saturday, May 29th is the date we were going with?
Saturday is May 30th.
May 30th, maybe that's what it was. Or maybe it was Friday.
It is, no.
Whatever.
Because we're having our graduation party for my daughter, so.
Oh,
Maybe we'll just send them all
yeah.
down there.
The date that it is, unfortunately, I will actually be out of town on a camping trip, but,
I try to still do it.
Oh, you're great, great.
Yeah, so best I can do is help them prep, but, so we'll see how that shapes up. We have another park board meeting on April 13th, so I'll be working on,
It's around the corner.
Yeah, but, we also have a new member, and that new member is a force of nature for event planning, so something will happen. We did talk about, and I might extend an invitation here to the Long Lake Waters Association, since it would be down at the beach. Might invite them and see if they might be interested in whether just bring a booth or, if they were doing any kind of a fundraising effort, it'd be a good opportunity to do that, or if they just wanted to in any way, participate. I don't know what that'll look like yet, but we could sure invite them. So.
Great, okay.
Would this be that Saturday all day or evening or?
Evening. Yeah, a couple hours in the evening. That's the plan. Not too late because we, don't want to disturb the residents across the street. So
I think they were thinking more like, what was it, 5:30 to 8:30, they were thinking? So,
Like a food truck kind of thing, or maybe not?
well, that's the problem, is given the timeline, that might be a bit of an issue, but I don't know, we're trying to brainstorm some stuff there.
Great.
So, yeah, we'll see what we can do there. But yeah, it should be fun.
Yeah. All right, Councilor Qualley, you all done?
Nothing further from me.
Linda?
Well, Jeanette might be mentioning some of this, but I wanted to encourage residents and council to keep an eye on Facebook page. There's a lot coming up here in the next couple weeks. On the 18th, we will have our spring cleanup day, so use that opportunity to do all your spring cleaning. But the other thing is, as Charlie mentioned, Mayor Minor, that on the 19th we will have our shoreline pancake breakfast, and I'm excited to for this new chapter for our fire department. I'm very excited to go and support our fire department at their pancake breakfast. They have mentioned that there will not be a pinning ceremony or anything at this time. That will be pushed back a couple months, which we'll let everyone know. But still, I encourage residents and council to attend the breakfast, and I will be there myself. So I'm looking forward to it.
Great.
That is all I have.
Fire board, you guys flipping pancakes during the official duties this year? No?
I'll take you 1 week with
All right, Jeanette, you got some more for us, or good?
Spring leaf pickup dates have been scheduled for the last Tuesday in April and first Tuesday in May. I believe that's April 28th and May 5th. Information on that is up on our website. Also popped that out on our Facebook page as well. So just a reminder to use compostable bags, as always. We also had a big swap out of organics carts today. We've finally, when we entered into our organics contract, Waste Management provided 64-gallon carts, and I think we all kind of went, wow, that's a lot of organics. And they were really repurposing used recycling carts for the most part, which, highest and best form of recycling. I can appreciate that, but at the same time, they took up a lot of room. So we had made it known that when the opportunity arose, we would really like to see if we could get 32-gallon carts, the more standard size, made available for residents. We have a new municipal representative who came in a couple months ago. I had met with her some time ago, and she notified me about a week and a half ago that they were going to be able to mobilize a cart swap for us. So today, about 50, they were hoping to get all of them, but about 50 of those carts got swapped today down to the 32-gallon cart size. And they're going to, book another date to try to see if they can hit the rest of them as well. So, down to 32-gallon, much more reasonable, much easier to store organic carts. I only had one resident, because I did send everyone in my list that had, signed up for it. I sent them an email to let them know it was going to be happening. I only had one person send back say, actually, I'd like to keep that 64-gallon. So I had sent that to Waste Management so they were aware. So for anybody who may be watching, who didn't get their cart swapped yet, there will be another cart swap coming. I don't know what that date's going to be yet, but just please trust that it will be happening. It could be next week, it could be the week after, but they are going to finish the cart swaps.
How many people do participate?
About 75, 76 right now. So I actually suspect that when word gets out that the 32-gallon carts are available, and I actually asked today, is it safe to update my website with that information, that is now our new standard. So I do suspect that once we actually update that information and people start to notice that it's the smaller cart size, I might actually get a few more sign-ups, because the 64-gallon cart size is very discouraging. So anyway, big mobilization.
Yeah, makes sense. I saw a truck on my street today picking up cans from box trucks. Thought there was, all right?
Yep.
All right, last call. If not, our next meeting is going to be on Tuesday, April 21st, potentially a work session as well. All right, if there's no objection, I'll adjourn the meeting by general consent. Hearing none, meeting's adjourned at 8:02 p.m.
So Charlie, the 23rd,
Already out.
the event at your